The Giants right now, and again, this is subject to change, but how their alignment is from left to right is Thomas Illuminor, John Michael Schmitz, John Runyon, and Evan Neal at right tackle from left to right. I really don't like how that's laid out for the Giants. I don't really get it. And I know we kind of talked about that on the last episode with John Runyon saying he's more comfortable at left guard, but he's playing at right guard right now. Illuminor played with the Raiders at both right guard and right tackle. With how Illuminor played really the last 2 years at tackle, I would feel a lot more comfortable with him at right tackle, Runyon at left guard, and then either like maybe you move Neal to right guard, or as you mentioned, Zudu, they're plugging in at right guard. Like, to me, I would rather like Neal at tackle has just struggled so much, and to me, Illuminor, I don't know if he's like an amazing Pro Bowl level starter, but I think he's solid. Like he hasn't been a liability the way that Neal has been at times. So I don't really get this alignment that they've chosen, at least for the short term right now.
I really don't understand it either. Again, it really ties back into what you alluded to with John Runyon being more comfortable at left guard. I don't see why he's listed at right guard while Illuminor is at left guard. Illuminor has, throughout his career, been much better on the right side, and Runyon much better on the left side. So for the Giants to just open up a mini camp with those two flipped into the opposite directions is kind of a head scratcher. I don't really see what the vision here is, and it gets even more confusing when you consider the fact that our new offensive line coach, Carmen Bristolo, is coming over from Las
Right.
Vegas, where he just coached Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle into a career year. So, with Jermaine Illuminor coming off of such a successful 2023 campaign under Bristolo, we imagined, okay, he'll continue to play on the right side under Bristolo here with the Giants and maybe take over right tackle if Evan Neal struggles. And then that would open things up for Evan Neal to move into right guard or left guard, depending. But they've started it out with Illuminor at left guard, which doesn't make a ton of sense. And that leaves things for Evan Neal to be the starter at right tackle. But you do have to imagine that even still, if Evan Neal struggles, Illuminor would be the next man up for that right tackle job. They could put Josh Azidu there, but he's never played right tackle. Josh Azidu being a third-round pick in 2022, same draft class as Evan Neal. He's made some starts for the Giants in the past, mainly at left guard, played some at left tackle last year, so he can kind of move anywhere at this point. If Evan Neal struggles, you have to imagine he gets moved out of the lineup. Maybe they test him at guard, but if he doesn't succeed there, it's probably Azido at left guard and Illuminor over at right tackle. And John Runyon's probably stuck in that right guard position for the Giants.
How about this? Johnny Boy's trying to broker a trade between these two teams. Malik Neighbors for Carter Warren. What do you think? I think that's fair for both sides. I would do it.
I'm going to have to respectfully say no, thank you.
Oh gosh, yeah. So the Jets have Carter Warren waiting in the wings. They're hoping that maybe after 1 year, Morgan Moses he ends up taking over as the right tackle. But yeah, a point that I wanted to bring up was well, not so recent anymore. It was a while ago. The Giants drafted Eric Flowers to play tackle, and he didn't play very well his first few years at tackle. He ends up revitalizing his career slightly, kicking inside and playing guard. He was better at guard than he was tackle. To me, I don't know why you don't try that with Evan Neal, who at Georgia even did that. Like, this is someone who has experience at guard too, so it's not like it's a completely new position. I think I would give him a look on the inside and try to protect him a little bit, because clearly to me it hasn't worked at tackle.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that one. You give me PTSD there bringing up Eric Flowers. I saw that one coming from a mile away. I remember in that draft, I was like, please, just not the Miami tackle, just not that guy. And then they took him, and immediately everybody knew that was the wrong decision. But with Eric Flowers, you make the good point about him making that move to guard, because the Giants never had him make that move to guard. They had him at left tackle, then they had him at right tackle, and it almost felt like they refuse to put him inside at guard because it would be almost admitting defeat, right? It would be like admitting that they made a mistake and he's not a good offensive tackle when they promised to be fixing the offensive line with a new tackle when they drafted him. So they never moved him into guard. He goes over to the Miami Dolphins, becomes a good guard, plays for the Washington Commanders. I think they were the football team at the time, is a really good guard for them. So it left the Giants wondering, okay, maybe we should have moved him to guard and learned that he was actually a decent player. We just weren't using him correctly. And that's my fear with Evan Neal is that you look at the way he plays and the size that he possesses, he doesn't move well in space, which has been the biggest problem that he's had at tackle. And it's probably a problem that he's not going to be able to fix, especially now that he's had surgery on his ankle. So maybe moving into guard where he's not asked to do as much lateral agility and he's able to just anchor on the interior might allow him to become a better player. But if the Giants are going to refuse to move him inside to guard, I'm going to question this organization and say, hey, did you not learn from your past mistakes? Sometimes these tackle prospects, even though you draft them highly to be a tackle, they don't pan out in that way. You'd rather get something for him than get nothing for him, let him walk in free agency and become a good guard for another team. I really hope that if it comes down to it, the Giants do end up moving Neal inside the guard and hopefully save his career.